rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. Oh, my Lord. Well, so to kind of explain, in case you haven't heard yet, kind of explain what happened last night. I was getting ready to get on. And, yeah, well, not that I'm trying to blame it on the dog, because I'm not, but, because of his age, okay, we've made some adjustments in the house here, and I'm not quite prepared for those adjustments. For an example, we have a folding set of stairs that is designed for him to walk up and down to get onto the bed. And I have these tripods, that have lights on them. So like this is one of my lights, all right? In order to light up the background, make it look all nice and pretty. And when you combo that with the stairs, yeah, and then an old guy like me, that's just asking. It's a recipe for disaster. So what ended up happening is I tripped over the stairs. I hit the light. The light then moved over, hit my drink. My drink then tipped over and dumped all over the computer desk. So after a really quick emergency shutdown to make absolutely certain that none of this would be affected, and then, of course, a 2.5 hour, 3 hour tear down of everything. I think this is the cleanest this desk has been since I put it in place. But, yeah. So there you go. That's why. And I ended up having to, like I said, emergency shutdown, clean everything. I had to, pull off, pull apart the computer, make sure no water or anything got into it. Yeah, I know. I'm getting all kinds of crap from my Whiskey Warrior P1s over here saying things like, oh, you need a sippy cup. I think you drank from the bottle and not his cup. Oh, if you drink straight from the bottle, you can put the lid back on. Yeah, 5 years worth, roughly, of doing this. And, yeah, what ended up happening is I ended up getting hit by my own. I got a little overconfident, I guess. I was like, oh, okay, with the stairs and lights and that. Well, let's just say I've got a couple things I've already enacted or am going to enact some changes that are going to prevent me from having that same kind of problem again. So there we go. All right. Well, last night I was going to talk about a bunch of stuff, and it turns out that a couple of the continuing articles on it continued into today, so that was fortunate. So the title of the show is almost the exact same. Anyway, so there we go. All right, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. And it was last night was Mrs. Whiskey's time to do the pledge as well. So yeah, I'm not going to blame it on her though. That was all an old man. It was all old man. Anyway. All right, let's go ahead and get things kicked off by the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you are of mine, please stand. Remove your hat if you're wearing one. Place your hand over your heart and follow along with Mrs. Whiskey as she recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and of course, I thank you, my wonderful Yeah, she helped me a lot last night. Anyway, my wonderful wife for doing that and performing that wonderful pledge. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself. Record yourself performing the pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file, and attach it to an email. Send it off to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online, and I will get you into the rotation. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to our headline sponsor, which is for tonight is the Institute on the Constitution. The Institute on the Constitution is on a mission. The mission is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education from a biblical worldview. All courses and materials come from the American view as sourced from documents such as the Declaration of Independence, which has the following 3 key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. They also provide all kinds of tools and things for you to use in order to continue your education. They do this in a 3-part process. The first one, and how to restore the republic, they say take 3 action steps. The first one is, of course, pray. You need to pray every day for your country. Second one is to study. Now, they have 4 core courses, and you can get started by doing the first 100% online free constitutional course. It's 12 lessons, about 15-20 minutes per lesson. And you can head on over to the study tab at theamericanview.com. That's theamericanview.com. Click on study, and you'll be presented with the opportunity to enter your information to get those. Here, I'll show you right here. Let's go and we'll hit take a class. And boom, there it is, right above my head, right here. And it's a simple form. All you have to do is put in your first and last name and then enter your email, and they will automatically email you every single week a new course every single week, or a new lesson, I should say. Again, that's 12 short lessons, each about 15-20 minutes long. And once you get done with that, I highly recommend that you go and join one of their classes in person. And as you can see, they have a bunch of them here. And you can go and join those classes. You can register for them and join them. But also, too, I highly recommend that you seriously consider thinking about joining them and becoming an instructor, because if you do that, you can help in the grassroots education. You can do these courses here that you see here, the instructor courses, instructor-led courses in your neighborhood, and you can help push the grassroots education for them. Go and check it out. There's all kinds of places where you can go. Here's how you learn. Here's a place how you learn to become an instructor. And it tells you they have 4 instructor levels. You can go and check it out and pick up the instructor kit, or it's a comprehensive resource. It has all kinds of information that you can use, and you can do that. And what you should also do is head out over to their shop, not only to pick up their instructor courses, but also check out their legacy library. And if you go into the legacy library, you will find this wonderful leather-bound U.S. Constitution right here. Take a look at this little guy. Here, let's get bigger. It's got 1/8 of an inch of Saddleback leather wrapped around pages that are water and tear resistant. No cheap glue here, folks. They are stitched all the way through, the leather and the binding. leather in the pages contained within. It's got a 100-year warranty against materials and manufacturing defects, such that you can send this back to the manufacturer and they will either fix it or replace it for free. My Whiskey Warrior 3 Chevy says each rounded corner book, as you can see, these are rounded corners, has leather stitching strong enough to tie down light cords and unsecured drinks in a secure manner. He's picking on my problem that I had yesterday. Anyway, it's buddy tested, buddy approved, Billy tasted, Billy approved. My youngest Whiskey Warrior has confirmed that the information contained within will help you to study for and achieve your civics badge in Scouts. Go and get yours today. You can also head over to either iotc.americanperspective.online, which will get you to theamericanview.com, or you can go and do Constitution right here. Constitution.americanperspective.online, and that'll get you directly to get the Leather Constitution book as well. So, yeah, there you go. Head on over to theamericanview.com and grab and learn about all of these wonderful offerings from the Institute on the Constitution. I thank them for being a sponsor of this show. All right. So, let's start with back in Minnesota, of course, talking about the cold. Well, apparently, Minnesota's anti-ice brigade doesn't like journalists anymore. They don't like journalists. And, well, that's pretty evident. Because here is a video of a journalist asking questions, and you can see the response.
Here in South Minneapolis, we just actually spoke to some of the individuals you want to just check out here, wearing the kind of black block covering their faces. They have this kind of blockade here where they're stopping some vehicles. Actually, Eric, if you can point down there, they're actually stopping this vehicle, and they check the out-of-state place just to see if they're ICE. And what's interesting is just moments ago, down there, we have an Uber driver. He's from Somalia. He's clearly not ICE, and they said that in their database that vehicle was popping up as an ICE vehicle. So we were questioning them about this database that they're using. Obviously, there's some type of network or communication. According to them, local law enforcement hasn't even came in and stopped. So Eric, just kind of shoot some of this and check it out. They're on the phones. I guess they were checking the license plate. We heard in their walkie-talkie that the license plate that they ran is not ICE, but you can see they're on their walkie-talkies kind of talking. We want to find out a little bit more about the database, but they don't want to answer our questions. So this is the situation right now here in South Minneapolis. It's called like a blockade. Hey, how you doing? Just talk to me a little bit about this database, because we just ran our Somali Uber driver's license plate. I mean, you guys did run his license plate without his permission. Talking about the database a little bit, you know? So, this is the scene right now in South Minneapolis, 32nd Street here on Cedar Avenue. You can't saw me, dude.
Get in the fucking car.
You can't.
Get in the fucking car, man.
Go away. So they're assaulting me and my photojournalist. Got it all on video. They actually tried to steal my phone, but unsuccessful. And you're gonna get blasted all over the internet, buddy.
All right, so first of all, let's talk about what these people are doing. Oh, once again, they are illegally obstructing. That's right. They are illegally obstructing not only a roadway, because they're the ones that put that crap out there, by the way, first of all. But they put it out on the roadway. They were harassing individuals in their cars. They were, checking license plates, which is something that normal people don't do. That law enforcement are the only ones that have it. As you heard in the video, or in it's in the video, as you heard, they stopped a Somali Uber driver and thought that he was an ICE agent. Yeah. Yeah, so these guys are freaking, yeah, they're stupid. They are just completely stupid. Well, the good news is the Public Works team, with the assistance of the Minneapolis Police Department, did finally clear the debris and the homemade roadblocks. They said this in an email Monday night, hours after the Daily Caller News Foundation asked how it would respond to the vigilantes controlling traffic and attacking a journalist. Yeah. This is a quote from the MPD. Given the high traffic and high speed block of roadways on Cedar Avenue, the city cleared the streets to ensure public safety for neighborhoods and emergency vehicles. Yeah, that was cleared at about 2:30 Central Time. I'm assuming that's 2:30 p.m. So anyway, what a mess. Anyway, two officers were also seen days earlier at different Minneapolis roadblocks trying to tell demonstrators that they could potentially block emergency vehicles from passing. According to the footage that Minneapolis Spring posted on Saturday, the crowd disputed their concern and complained about ICE abducting people. Yeah. See, this is part of the reason why, honestly, this is part of the reason why we need to be able to have laws that you can sue these people for, waste of time and waste of, obviously they're going against the law, period. Regardless of whether it's federal law or local law, they can't block off public streets like that. They're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that without proper permitting, period. And yet here they are, they're doing it. So anyway, after the structures were cleared, the Minneapolis Spring account encouraged supporters on X to go ahead and try it again. It said, they want us to be demoralized, but keep in mind, blockades are cheap to set up, not meant to function around the clock. It takes almost no effort for people to set up another filter blockade, but this strategy will only work if we keep building momentum with more blockades. This is part of the reason why I want one of those big-ass rubber bumpers on my truck. Anyway, if you think that these folks are just people going out there, no, they're not. They're not just average people. This isn't a reflection, by the way. This isn't a reflection in terms of the actual feeling of the American people. I got something up on that here in just a minute. But first, Minnesota's anti-ICE activists get $3.3 million from Soros-backed charity you've never heard of. So 16 different activist groups are mobilizing against immigration agents in Minnesota. And they all have financial support from the nonprofit backed by the Soros family's Open Society Foundations. So Headwaters Foundation for Justice awarded $3.3 million in funds and non-cash assistance since 2014 to groups that now seek to monitor immigration and customs enforcement or protest the agency, according to the Daily Caller News Foundation analysis of tax filings, activist websites, and their social media posts. Yep. There we go. They are being funded here, folks. They're being funded by these organizations who are looking to try and take down America. Now, the Headwaters Foundation did not respond to multiple requests for comment from the Daily Caller News Foundation. But the foundation said in a Wednesday Instagram post announcing $120,000 in new grants that what we are seeing in the streets of Minneapolis and across Minnesota right now is a fight for collective liberation in real time. What collective liberation? I mean, seriously. Yeah. By the way, all of the Ice Out marches that were happening on January 23rd, they were funded by the Headwaters Foundation, MISNA, Unidos Minnesota, the Council on American Islamic Relations, Minnesota, Communities Organizing Latin Power and Action, Centro de wow. Anyway, I'm not even going to bother with that. Some Mexican. Wow. I couldn't even pronounce it. Unidos en la Lucha, or Lucha. Anyway, Jewish Community Action, Voices for Racial Justice, Minnesota Freedom Fund, and LGBTQ plus minus divided by sign, ampersand, percent sign, underscore, whatever, Out Front Minnesota, and Gender Justice. Yeah. They are all going over. Yeah. Oh my gosh. They're well funded. That's all I can tell you, is that they are well funded. And what's even worse is that, there even appears to be, they claim that it's a grassroots effort, but it actually isn't. It actually isn't. They apparently, are being funded by, and this is according to Scott Walter, the president of Capital Research, and he's an expert on dark money outfits. He told the New York Post that his team's best judgment is that it's the Neville Singham network that is the one that's most active in Minnesota. So Walter was referring to the People's Forum and the Party for Socialism and Liberation, which are both funded by Chinese-based former software executive Singham. Oh, gee. Huh. So China, or at least this Chinese guy, is funding all of this. He's a single person funding all of this. Yeah. So both groups are promoting the Ice Out protests, and those, by the way, were organized by a different group called the 50501 through social media. And Walter said that their members were in attendance, but he noted that they have recently been getting their members to blend in more with the crowds. Yeah. He said, what's new is we are seeing truly extreme communist splinter groups showing up alongside of things like the American Federation for Teachers or the Ford Foundation. Folks, this is a communist takeover. This is a communist takeover. That's what's happening here. This is a communist takeover. They are attempting to take over. They are attempting to cause all kinds of problems. Now, Ben Shapiro was talking on his podcast today, and he made a observation, and Brandon Tatum agreed with him because Brandon Tatum was being interviewed. And the comment that was made was that they think, and I am kind of agreeing because it sort of makes sense, but they believe that the reason why all of this is happening is, of course, to be able to get snapshots and sound bites and pictures of the grisly, thing of things like Renee Good being killed and Alex Preddy being killed, so that they can hit Trump on his winningest topic ahead of the 2026 midterms, which is immigration. See, they're looking, like Rahm Emanuel said, never let a crisis go to waste. This is a crisis. And they're not letting this crisis go to waste. And this is also part of the reason why it's only centered in Minnesota. They're not doing necessarily everything across the country. They're hitting Minnesota because of the fact that Minnesota is ignoring federal law, ignoring the Constitution, and they have the idiots, the useful idiots, who are willing to do all of this. That's essentially what's happening here. That's essentially what's happening here. And, yeah. So, here's a quote from a guy, Ian Oxnard. Anyway, Oxnevad. He's a senior fellow of foreign affairs at the National Association of Scholars. And he asked the question to the Post. He's like, have you noticed that there's no pro-Palestinian and anti-ICE protests going on at the same time? He's like, if it was organic, you would see multiple protests going on simultaneously. But you don't see that. So, yeah. This is all coordinated, folks. Everything. This is all coordinated. He continues and says, there's no mass protests like this against what is going on in Iran, for example, or any number of genocides that have happened. It's always very specific causes that are anti-Western, essentially. So, yeah. And don't forget the anti-regime unrest in Iran has allegedly, we don't know, but allegedly seen like 36,000 protesters killed in recent weeks. So, yeah. Yep. All of this is planned. This is all executed and planned perfectly for all of this. Well, one of the biggest things that the leftists have been talking about is the fact that the ICE agents, in particular, some of the ICE agents, in particular the one with Renee Good, who was filming on his phone, how the ICE agents are not wearing body cams. Now, there was an article that I was reading the other day. I think I was going to talk about it, but there was an article, probably ended up on the cutting room floor, but there was an article that discussed the whole idea of body cams. You know, these leftist lunatics have all been talking about body cams and how body cams make everybody safer. Well, in actuality, an analysis of the body cam footage taken as a whole across the country has demonstrated that the body cams are actually more detrimental to the supposed victims. That the criminals whom these body cams catch actually cause things like additional charges, police being exonerated more often than not from allegations of misconduct and things of that nature. So for the left to sit here and talk about, hey, where are all the body cams that these, ICE agents are wearing? Well, Secretary Noem just announced for the Minneapolis operations, they will be wearing body cams moving forward. She posted on X, I just spoke with Tom Homan, ICE director, and the CBP commissioner. Effective immediately, we are deploying body cameras to every officer in the field in Minneapolis. As the funding is available, the body cam program will be expanded nationwide. We will rapidly acquire and deploy the body cams. Yeah. So, that funding that's that the left is holding up, that funding that they've been sitting here holding up. Yeah. This is all now going to fall at the feet of the Democrats. Oh, you guys want us to wear body cams, but yet you won't fund anything for us to wear body cams. Watch how that comes up. into play. Watch how that comes up in the news cycle soon. Well, speaking of the public, they look at the ICE, and this is, again, part of the reason why this is the one topic, realistically, that the vast majority of Americans have been pretty much on target with, and obviously was a major point of the Trump campaign to get him elected. So anyway, there was a poll that came out, and it basically is pointing out that while the Democrats want you to think that most people, that the American public, don't believe in this stuff, it's the Democrats who don't believe in this. For an example, 68% of Democrats want to defund ICE, but 58% of all actual voters oppose that. Yeah. Now, this was a poll put out by Signal, CYGNAL, which has a A rating on the Silver Bulletin pollster rating. And they had conducted a nationwide survey of midterm voters to see where things really stood on the issue of deportation, ICE, and immigration. Well, the data points out to the fact that the Democrats are pretty wrong. Starting with deportation, 61% of midterm voters support it. Yet 67% of Democrats don't. That's huge. That's huge. 64% of voters believe illegal immigration is a problem. 61% of Democrats say that it's not. Again, big chasm. Even the definition of illegal splits along party lines in ways that should alarm anyone running a Democratic campaign. 73% of midterm voters say coming to the U.S. without permission means you broke the law, which is true. 45% of Democrats disagree with that particular basic premise. Now, I'm going to say the reason for that, I mean, other than the fact that the leftist lunatics on the Democrat side, including all their Democrat sycophantic voters, is because of the fact that they are complete, utter, stupid morons. But that being said, I will lay some of the blame toward the Pravda media, how they are all skewing the Democrats to the point that the ordinary person like us consumes so little or trusts so little of that propaganda that it's becoming ineffective. So, yeah. Get off the social media, folks. It's just what I'm saying. Get off of Facebook, get off of X, touch some grass, and yeah, you will be found that you will find, I should say, that you're not as far-fetched out there as what the leftists want you to believe. So here is some other here's some other results from the poll. 54% of voters support ICE's enforcement efforts. Among the swing voters, it's 59%. These are the people, by the way, the swing voters that would decide elections, and they're overwhelmingly siding with enforcement, which is the Republican position. Although, on the opposite side, 81% of Democrats oppose ICE enforcing federal immigration laws to remove illegal aliens from the U.S. This is a net 43-point difference, folks. Holy crap. It's a polarizing issue, clearly. And it's this kind of stuff, that is why the leftist lunatics are pushing and pushing and pushing all of this anti-ICE crap in not only Minneapolis, but in all these other cities. So, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in 2026 in the midterms. So, yeah. So, currently the Democrats are holding a nominal lead in what they are considering the general congressional ballots. Standard stuff. But when you frame the question around supporting ICE's ability to enforce federal immigration laws and Democrats oppose it, the ballot instantly ties, meaning there's a 4-point shift. If Democrats force a shutdown over ICE funding, which we'll get to that in a minute, which is exactly what started, Republicans take a 2-point lead. Well, that, of course, didn't happen. They actually did get all the way through. The House passed the bill, the funding bill, without any problem. Well, let's see. Before I move on to my next topic, let me go ahead and tell you about this wonderful elixir that I drink every morning, and apparently I needed more of it last night. It's called coffee. That's right. And if you still haven't tried 1775 coffee, now is your shot. The 1775 starter kit has dropped. There's only a small number of units available. Each unit, you will receive the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus with no crash. That's what I needed, apparently, yesterday. All of these coffees are single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Plus, you're also going to be getting the gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. You'll be receiving a frother that is strong enough not only to stir up your coffee, but also your mother-in-law's opinions. Let's face it, not that hard to stir those up. And you'll also be receiving a black 1775 tumbler. It's $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for just $99. This is for the ones that have been watching 1775 coffee blow up on Rumble and wondering if it's actually worth it. Well, spoiler alert, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com. That's 1775coffee, all one word, .com /studio, STUDIO, and grab your starter kit before they are gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. Go to 1775coffee.com /, that's your question mark key on the keyboard. 1775coffee.com /studio and grab your starter kit today. My Whiskey Warrior P1G says, perking some 1775? Now, what is that? Perking? Is that legal? Of course. Well, perk some patriotism. 1775 coffee. 1775coffee.com /studio. Grab your starter kit. Anyway. All right. So for those of you that don't know, and I didn't really know, but unfortunately I had to hear about it. This was one of the things I was going to talk about yesterday. So apparently the Golden Globes happened. Yeah, at least I think it's the Golden Globes. Anyway, let's see. I don't know. Anyway, they had some freaking special, I don't know, pat myself on the back kind of thing for all the artists that were out there, singers, whatever they are. Anyway, I don't listen to a lot of them as it is anyway, but a bunch of them got up on stage. They were standing there and they were doing, their typical thing. Oh, it's the Grammys. Sorry, not the Golden Globes, the Grammys. See, that's how far out of this stuff. Somebody asked me one time, they were like, hey, why don't you talk about entertainment anymore? Or even at all, because let's face it, I haven't really covered entertainment. And the actual reason is because of the fact that entertainment is no longer entertaining to me. The same thing happened with sports. I don't watch sports much anymore because it's no longer entertaining. See, I use things, or me personally, I've used things like sports and movies and television to escape from daily life, to get an opportunity to forget about daily life. And anyway, and I hardly ever watched any of these special things. So anyway, so they were at the Grammys, and of course they all got up and they all started saying stuff like, F Ice and, Bad Bunny, who's supposedly the Super Bowl halftime, not going to be watching it, Super Bowl halftime show guy, whatever. He's going to be speaking in Spanish, singing in Spanish, whatever. I don't give a crap. But anyway, Billie Eilish made all kinds of wonderful friends, and I'm being facetious. So she apparently stood up and made a claim. Well, first of all, she said F Ice. No surprise. But then she made the comment that you can't be illegal on stolen land. Okay. So she's basically claiming that her multi-million-dollar mansion, which is technically on stolen land, all right? Yeah, she was talking about how it's on stolen land and that we should maybe give it back. Well, there's a Native American tribe apparently that owns the land under her multi-million-dollar Los Angeles mansion. The Tongva tribe. That's Tongva. The Tongva tribe confirmed that her $3 million home sits on its quote-unquote ancestral land. Now, she used her acceptance speech to rail against ICE and all of that. Well, the indigenous inhabitants, wow, say that 5 times fast, and I'm not even drunk, of the Los Angeles basin, known as the First Angelinos, said that they appreciate her sentiment. However, they noted that the performer hasn't contacted her directly and insisted that next time she explicitly reference them in her speeches. So a Tongva spokesperson told the Daily Mail, Eilish has not contacted our tribe directly regarding her property. We do value the instance when public figures provide visibility to the true history of this country. It is our hope in future discussions the tribe can be explicitly referenced to ensure the public understands the greater Los Angeles basin remains Gabrielino Tongva territory. Yeah. Let's just see if she can lead the way. I'm serious. I just want to see this person lead the way and hand over her $3 million home, or whatever it is, and hand it on over. Just hand it over to them. Just walk away, and hand it all over. It's, come on. Really? Come on. And by the way, Billie Eilish is worth about $50 million, and she has given literally $0 to the original inhabitants of this quote-unquote stolen land, according to an independent journalist by the name of Manny Marotta, Marotta, on X. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, well, they're not the only ones with their butts hurt. Apparently, our buddy, Scott Jennings, you remember Scott? This is the Scott Jennings truth bomb. That's right, the Scott Jennings truth bomb. Well, it hit on target, a little too on target the last time. You remember I talked to you on Saturday about this, where he was sitting there with that 23-year-old know-nothing idiot who apparently was a survivor from Sandy Hook, I think. But anyway, this guy somehow some complaint came in from the individual people that work at CNN, and they're all hurt. They're all butthurt over the fact that Scott Jennings actually used the legal term illegal aliens for illegal aliens. These people apparently got together into a meeting. They drug the president and CEO, I think, of the Clinton News Network or the Communist News Network, depending upon which way you want to go with it. And, well, they had an all-hands meeting that was held after that. And it turned into, well, kind of a bitch session. Let's just say it was a bitch session. So because Jennings was unafraid, is unafraid to actually, sound, basically unafraid to use his words and, actually speak truth, everybody got a little upset. And they are mounting frustration over their inability to control him. The leftist staff on CNN demanded from CNN Worldwide CEO Mark Thompson that Jennings needs to be quote unquote reined in. Yeah, Thompson basically said no. He let the staff know that commentators are not bound by the same terminology constraints as the supposedly unbiased journalists of the network are, and that the debates that Jennings has sparked on the program are much needed as part of their programming and capture the actual debates on policy that are playing out across the country. Oh, so Thompson pretty much said that such squabbles act as a public service. Yeah. So, he basically told his staff, yeah, F off. You're bullshit. Oh, boy. Excuse me. Toward that end, I just want to say that the, Billie Eilish and all of those Hollywood elites who were sitting there and crying about ICE doing their jobs and Scott Jennings and his staff members' complaints. Well, I got a place for you. I have a word for you. I have a name to call you.
You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're grade A, number one, bona fide first class. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. And you'll be one all your dumbass life.
Yep. That's right. That's what you are. You guys are all dumbasses. Oh my God. How horrible can that be? All right. Well, there was a supposed whistleblower complaint that came in on the DNI Gabbard. That's right, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. And apparently that didn't go very well either. So the Wall Street Journal, which was reporting on the existence of the complaint, basically repeated the whistleblower lawyer's allegations that Gabbard had stonewalled the complaint. Now, there was an alleged wrongdoing that was spilled out into the open on Monday. So there you go. But buried in that exact same article is the fact that the agency's inspector general assessed that several of the allegations against Gabbard were deemed not credible. kind of like the not credible allegations of just about everybody that was in the Epstein files as a part of the 3.5 million pages that were released earlier this week that the Democrats have been combing through to try and find something on Donald Trump. He supposedly is named like 38,000 times, but there's not one single credible shred of actual verifiable evidence of wrongdoing at all, which is something that I've been saying for all of this time. All right. So, yeah. Anyway, the Wall Street Journal, of course, buried the fact that the Inspector General's office said, yeah, there's nothing to confirm any of this. But the Wall Street Journal did did write in their article that instead they were describing the DNI's handling of the whistleblower complaint as a, quote, cloak and dagger mystery reminiscent of John le Carré novel. The Wall Street Journal also reported that the highly classified complaint has sparked months of wrangling over how to share it with Congress because the disclosure of its contents could cause grave damage to national security. The subject of the complaint is not known other than the fact that it involves other than the fact that it involves Gabbard. So, yeah. Well, why would the Inspector General's office reveal something to Congress when there's absolutely zero evidence, supporting evidence to it? Yeah. Now, keep in mind, many of this bears resemblance to and similarity to the 2019 whistleblower complaints targeting President Trump, which had sparked his first quote-unquote impeachment. By the way, the whistleblower in this case is even represented by the same damn lawyer. Yeah, Andrew Bakaj. Uh-huh. Who prompted the purported 2019 Ukraine phone call whistleblower, which we turned out was, part of that Eugene Vindman idiot. Anyway, whatever. What a mess. What a mess. There's still people in there that are attempting to try and get, it's going to take a while, folks. It's just going to take a while. I mean, they're just digging. They're digging to find something somewhere, and they're just digging to try and derail this president's agenda. You do realize that so much has happened just within the first year. We still have 3 more years to go. Speaking of that, Speaker Johnson was able to wrangle a GOP revolt. The final vote sent the bill, the funding bill, over to President Trump's desk. And, the end of the current shutdown is in sight. I believe they passed the bill, the 2017 to 2015 vote. So very narrowly passed, but it did pass. So there you go. Anyway. All right. Well, one thing that is resurfacing, which the leftists really, really don't like, is the whole SAVE Act. So the SAVE Act is resurfaced, and also the SAVE Act with the extension, like I talked to, that's been resurfaced. Well, according to Chuck Schumer over in the Senate, that voter ID bill is going to be dead on arrival because the Dems are going to go all out to defeat it. Why are these people? I mean, seriously, we have the Real ID Act that is law. You need the Real ID in order to board a freaking plane. So don't sit here and tell me that that Americans can't get ID. Why do you want to stop this voter ID? There is absolutely no reason for the Democrats to do this. None whatsoever. Other than the fact that they want to keep their illegals on the voter rolls. Now, one of the things that happened yesterday, I don't know if anybody knows, but Dan Bongino started his show back up, and he had a fantastic show. And he ended it with Trump getting on the phone. And while Trump got on the phone, Trump said, hey, we need to nationalize federal elections. Well, there's a little bit of pushback on that. And that's because according to, Chuck Schumer, he's like, that's illegal. That's illegal. Well, saying that elections need to be in the states and that Donald Trump doesn't know the Constitution. I maintain that Chuck Schumer doesn't know the Constitution because right here in our little Constitution book that you can get by going to constitution.americanperspective.online, under Article 1, Section 4, it states the times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. But, here it is, but the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations, except as to the places of choosing senators. So here's the thing. Sorry, Chucky boy, but to be completely honest, I just got something to say.
What are you doing, you moron?
You don't seem to understand that, there actually could be a national takeover of elections if Congress chooses to do so. And that would not be unconstitutional. The only thing that Congress cannot change is the places of choosing choosing senators. Well, I hate to tell you this, Chucky boy, but that's already been blown out of the water because now senators are being chosen by the public rather than being representatives out of the state legislature like it was originally written in the Constitution. So, there you go. There you go. And, let's go ahead and just do this because Chucky is...
You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're grade A, number one, bona fide first class. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. And you'll be one all your dumbass life.
That's right, Chucky. Oh, that is correct. You are a dumbass because you apparently don't read the Constitution at all. And I have, like I said, an authorized copy right here in front of me that you can get by heading off to constitution.americanperspective.online. And you too can learn and reference this wonderful, fantastic document all the time. All right. That is the end of my material with one exception. Apparently last night, because I had my oopsie daisy, I missed a Whiskey Warrior P1 birthday. Therefore, we are picking up a belated birthday to U.S. Abby Girl. That's right, U.S. Abby Girl. Her birthday was yesterday, and reportedly she saw her shadow for 6 more weeks of winter. Don't kill the messenger. That's what she said. All right, she said it. So, U.S. Abby Girl, I hope you had a wonderful day yesterday. And here we go. This one's for you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Abby. Happy birthday to you. And many more. All right, Abby, I hope you had a wonderful day yesterday. Folks, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure you search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time that I go live. Also, too, don't forget to hit those thumbs up, thumbs downs, or the thumb sideways if you're 3 Chevy across all of my platforms. Whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, or, of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night for Whiskey Wednesday. And hopefully a pet of the week. And hint, I mean, I know I've got another emergency one, but come on, let's get more of these. Pet of the week for tomorrow night. It is 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening. And good night, everybody.